Okay, hi everyone. My name is Tomas Susanka. I'm the CTO of a company called Trezor. At Trezor, we made cryptocurrency hardware wallets. Who from the audience knows what Trezor is? Oh, fair amount. That doesn't stress me at all. Okay. So I was thinking what I should give this talk about, and I usually talk about security, Bitcoin, cryptography, cryptocurrencies, and all that. But I wanted to step out of my comfort zone a little bit, and I wanted to share some thoughts on how a consumer electronics product is made, right? So how hardware is made, basically, because it differs in a lot of things when compared to the software realm. So this on the slide is our latest Trezor. It is called Trezor Safe Free, and yeah, the content of this presentation is to basically tell you how we came up with what was the development and what issues we dealt with. So first, as I think it's the same story with software development as well. You start with some spec, with some product specification. For us, it was to do a facelift of Model 1, which is what you see on the sides. Trezor Model 1 was created 10 years ago, right? So it was quite some time. It was, by the way, the first hardware wallet in the world. We basically invented the concept, or we were the first one that came up with this concept. And with Trezor Safe Free, we wanted to, do some kind of facelift refresh, as you wish. So the idea was to create a new entry-level self-custody hardware wallet. We wanted to replace micro USB with USB-C because, well, obviously, if it's 2024, I think that's kind of obligatory, and even iPhone is doing it. So hey, it was about time. And we wanted to add a secure element to just improve the physical security. So once you have the spec, you basically work in two parallel streams. So you work on the product, on the design, and also on the engineering. So I will start with the first part, with the design and product. So first you think about what the product should look like. So you're thinking how should it feel, what size and shape and color and material and format and all that, what it should look like. And so this is okay, you basically don't see anything, but these are like different designs that we had at the beginning. You can see that we wanted to keep the shape because the shape is it's something that differentiates us from our competitors. But so that was like a must-have. We wanted to keep that. And then the main differences are in the buttons, but you don't see it, so just imagine it. So I wanted to share some pictures. So basically how you work, you do prototypes, right? You do prototypes, and we use 3D printing a lot because you want to try out, the feel, to actually have it in your hands. It's not enough to just have it on the slide. So you just want to actually feel it. So there are some pictures. This was what the first product looked like. Yeah, it's just some more pictures from the process. I'm kind of cherry picking here, right? But I found it kind of interesting. So one of the things that we were dealing with was like how the cable is connected to the device. And I mean, it sounds kind of silly, but we had a lot of feedback from our users from our previous model that people just didn't get that they have to like connect the cable like strong enough. They basically connected it like halfway. It didn't click. It just wasn't like completely connected, and then it didn't work. And we really had a lot of user feedback from that. So we spent quite some time on making sure that it's the UX of connecting a cable is great. It sounds a little bit silly after a presentation about SpaceX, about people that sent, rockets to the moon, to the space, but you probably get it. I just wanted to share it because we spent really quite some time on that. Also, colors are a huge thing. This is a slide from our designer who basically handpicked each color of each phone on the market and put it into table. He did that for phones. He did that for many other consumer electronic devices. And he basically, what I'm like trying to say that I previously thought like it's colors, right? So what's the big deal? But really, it's a huge logic behind that, and he's the one that is able to speak about it for hours or more like weeks. So about the design, this is what we end up with. This is what it looks like, as I showed at the beginning. And parallel to that, you do engineering. So you need to figure out, or you need to think about what the components will be, right? What the MCU will be. We are using products from ST. So you need to make sure about that, and of course, you're thinking about the components, about how long they will, run it, or how long the manufacturer is supporting them, the quantities, and all that. Of course, display is a huge topic. And once you have the basic idea, you're putting together something called schematic. Like for the hardware people in the audience, you're like, it's probably too easy for you, but I wanted to share how this is done, because for people from software world, or with my software/cryptography background, I didn't have a clue. So this is the schematic. And what the schematic is basically saying is how the different components, how the different chips, how they are connected together, right? So how the specific pins are connected to the other ones. So this big piece is the main MCU. So once you have that, you put together the PCB. So you design the PCB. So we use Altium software, which is a great one, I believe. And you actually design what the device, like what is the physical representation of that schematic that I showed you just recently, right? So you design how the components, how the chips, how everything is connected together. So you can see on the top picture, like the big black rectangle is the main MCU. You can see the buttons, and you can see how everything is connected. By the way, all this is open source. You can check it out on GitHub and browse some more. So once you have that, you manufacture some prototypes, right? Like no big amounts, like 20, 50 prototypes, something like that. And that's basically what is happening since then. Like you do proof of concept, you discuss with stakeholders, you test. We do a lot of user research testing, because it's, Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies is a complex product, and if you add hardware self-custody product into the mix, it's super confusing. So we're trying to do a lot of user research, and this is what's basically happening. So you do proof of concept, discuss, test, and go to suppliers, because you cannot really, manufacture the devices in your office in Palmovka, right? You really need big companies that actually manufacture it for you, and big suppliers that actually supply the components. So you make a proof of concept, you discuss with stakeholder, and you go back to the suppliers and tell them, hey, fix that. And you do that again, and again, and again, and again, and again, until you either get crazy or you actually make it. So I think that's the setup. And I really think that's what differentiates the software development to the hardware development. Like, what is the biggest difference? Because the lead times are huge. I mean, if you give an assignment to your suppliers, and it takes a month for them, to actually deliver something, or even longer, it of course depends. And you tell them, okay, great, but we need to fix this and this and that, and it takes another 2 or 3 weeks, right? And it goes on and goes on and goes on, and the loops are just very, very long. And then, of course, the other things. So you have to make sure that you can actually package the device into something. So that's, another topic. You need to have certifications. You need to make sure that the device doesn't interfere with any other devices. We do also like temperature testing, like what the device is going to do in -50 or in +60 or whatever. So this. You of course test the devices in the manufacturing itself. I don't know how familiar are you with those tools, but we used to outsource a lot of the hardware development back, 3 years ago. We were sometimes joking that we are a software company that is accidentally making hardware. So now I really think that we are both, that we are a hardware and software company. So we started to develop those in-house as well. And what these are testers where you actually put the PCB, where you put the Trezor inside. I have a better picture in just a sec. And the operator in the manufacturer closes the lid, and it tests all the electronic stuff and uploads some software and checks the displays and all that. Maybe this is a better picture. Yeah, on the right, you can see like a USB-C connector, and when the lid is closed, then you are actually testing the device. On the left, you can see some final, manufacturing, some final manufactured devices. Also, what is very, very difficult is that in the cryptocurrency world, like we have those cycles. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with Bitcoin halving, but Bitcoin halving is an event that happens circa each 4 years. And it's every time the Bitcoin reward in mining, whatever, goes in half, and it always creates a lot of buzz in the industry, and the demand like skyrockets. And it's really hard, because you cannot manufacture. If you manufacture too little, then you need to go to pre-orders, because you cannot really manufacture those in weeks, right? You have to be really prepared for that. You need to have the components on stock and so on. If you manufacture too much and it doesn't sell, well, obviously you're in financial problems. So this is very, very hard. We're really trying to prepare for the next one, which we assume will be at the end of the year, but like we call it a useful fiction, right? Because no one really knows what the price will do, but that's what the big companies prepare for. And yeah, this is a hard one. By the way, I didn't mention we are the number 2, like worldwide when it comes to the hardware wallets. Ledger, our biggest French competitor, they basically jumped us in 2017, I believe, when we didn't have enough on stock. The demand was huge and we were in pre-orders, but they were selling like crazy. So this is really crucial times to be ready for those. And then the other things, so of course you do some marketing. So we do ads, and you do a lot of pictures and photos, and brand many beautiful material that you need. Also here it's kind of difficult that you usually do these on a few golden samples. So you do it on like 10 samples that you give to the marketing team, but you're still dealing with the manufacturing itself, right? So you're spending huge amounts of money on marketing, but you don't really have the product like, in your stock yet, because if you would do that, you would wait another weeks or months. We develop software that accompanies the device itself. Of course, you need to write the firmware that runs on the device, and of course, the website. That's it. So that was just a very short sneak peek into how our product is made. Maybe just last thing, there is a conference in mid-June, BTC Prague. I'm just saying that if you're interested in what Bitcoin is, feel free to come and join us. There will be a lot of people, me included, happy to chat and discuss Bitcoin or anything else. Thank you.